This program was made possible by a grant from the Bannerolappy Foundation. Someone new is about to enter your life. In a short while, this individual will step into your home or workplace for the very first time. Oh, sure, you've welcomed plenty of new people, spouses, children, neighbors, or coworkers. But it's safe to say that this particular individual is unlike anyone you've met before. What makes this new arrival so special? Well, before too much time has passed, you'll notice the remarkable intelligence, the friendly disposition, and the easygoing personality. But at first glance, you will probably be most aware of the fur-covered body, 4 legs, and a tail. That's right. You will soon meet a specially trained dog guide from the Seeing Eye.
Oh, look.
Oh, my goodness, a dog.
The Seeing Eye has produced this video as an extension of its training program for people who are blind. Students spend up to 4 weeks at the Seeing Eye, learning to achieve independence, safety, and confidence with their dogs. But as a member of a Seeing Eye graduate's family, community, or workplace, you need to learn a few things too.
Here she comes.
It is vital that people who expect to have regular contact with a Seeing Eye dog understand just what this animal is and what it's not. Seeing Eye dogs are not pets. They are working dogs, and each one forms a close working relationship with a blind person. This enables it to guide that person through all sorts of environments: city streets, country roads, airports, shopping malls, you name it. And in all of their training, there is one overriding concern: safety. This is where you come in. When you treat a Seeing Eye dog in a way that reinforces its training, you strengthen the dog's working relationship, and in this way you help assure the safety of the person the dog is guiding. But if you treat the dog in a way that contradicts its training, you run the risk of damaging that relationship. This could lead to problems in the dog's performance, and even create a risk to the blind person's safety. The Seeing Eye's training ranks among the best in the world, but it can all be undone if friends and family members don't support it when a blind person returns home.
Glad to see you guys.
That's what this video is all about: the essential do's and don'ts of sharing your home or workplace with a Seeing Eye dog. Now, don't panic, it's easy. You just need to learn a few basic rules. And since we're asking you to learn a few things, let's start by explaining exactly what students learn at the Seeing Eye. By the time students complete the Seeing Eye's training program, they have learned how to travel under any circumstances and manage 100% of the dog's care. In training, students work with their dogs for a minimum of 3 hours a day and live with their dogs around the clock. A lot of attention is focused on different kinds of street crossings, complex traffic patterns, walking along roads with and without sidewalks, and moving through stores, restaurants, and offices that are typical of the student's own environment. And as far as care is concerned, students learn how to keep their dogs clean and healthy entirely on their own. They groom the dog every day, feed it at scheduled times, brush its teeth, monitor its health, take it outside to answer the calls of nature, and clean up after it. If you're worried that you may need to help care for the dog, relax. The graduate takes care of everything. The most critical time for a Seeing Eye dog is the first month in the graduate's normal environment. During this period, it's especially important to continue the routine that graduate and dog establish during training. And most important of all is the moment when they first enter the dog's new home. When graduate and dog arrive at your home or workplace for the first time, it's important to remember 3 words. Keep life simple. Don't throw a party, even though the occasion may seem to call for one. A noisy, jubilant welcome will make the dog confused and anxious, which makes it much harder for the dog to adapt to the new environment. Also, don't approach the dog or stare at it. For people, this is the most natural action in the world, but it is one of the most upsetting things for a dog. The worst possible welcome for a new dog is a crowd of strangers staring at it, blocking its way, and offering a confusion of new voices.
Does the dog get nervous around people?
Instead, keep the environment as quiet and low-key as possible. Offer the graduate a simple welcome, one person at a time. Start out with just the members of the household. If other family members or friends want to stop by, don't have them over all at once, but spread out their arrival over several days. And in the workplace, where there may be an overwhelming number of new faces, it's always helpful to let the graduate make a formal introduction.
Oh, no, don't pet her. Oh, I'll bring her out to meet you.
Don't pet the dog or try to make friends right away. It's best to let the dog make the first advance. Once it becomes familiar with you and others in the environment, it will make friends on its own. Once graduate and dog have settled in, you can help them adjust to the new setting and work as a more effective team by following certain guidelines in 7 different areas: petting, feeding, etiquette, correction, distraction, interference, and traveling. We'll go through them one by one. For many people, petting a dog, even a strange dog, is a reflex. It happens without even thinking. But remember, a seeing eye dog is a working dog. Petting will distract it from its job. And never forget what that job is: guiding a person safely.
I'm not about to be that. Hey, please don't bother the dog while she's in harness.
There's a simple rule of thumb. If the dog is wearing a harness, it's working and should not be petted. If the dog is just on a leash, petting is okay, but unless you know the dog well, always ask the owner's permission first.
Come on, Trevor. To the curb. Good boy.
There's
Good
one other
boy.
issue here.
Trevor,
For the
right.
dog, petting is a
Boy.
powerful expression of affection. It's one of the things that helps maintain the bond that lets human and dog team up so effectively. And that's why it's important that the greatest amount of affection always comes from the graduate. If other family members begin pouring affection on the dog with lots of play and petting, the dog may form a closer bond with them, and this could compromise the graduate's ability to travel safely. Over time, other people can certainly become friends with the dog and are even free to play with it. But the greatest amount of contact should be with the graduate. Remember, working or not, a seeing eye dog is never a pet.
Remember, he's working as long as this harness is on him.
All right.
And you can't touch him.
Hi, Harold. I have a question. Could you help me with something?
Dogs are hungry most of the time, plus they'll eat almost anything, and that makes feeding another problem area. Family members and coworkers often want to give the dog food, usually some of their own food. This must be avoided at all costs. For one thing, there are health considerations. Most human food is not very good for dogs, and some things, like chocolate, can actually be toxic. But there's a behavioral issue here as well. If a dog gets snacks between scheduled meal times, even dog biscuits, it may grow accustomed to eating whenever it wants to. It may also come to assume that any food within reach is fair game. If a dog often gets table scraps at home, you can hardly blame it if it decides to grab a tasty morsel off a table in a restaurant. So, no matter how tempting it may be, no feeding. Keep your food on your plate and let the dog wait for its dinner. Dog etiquette is a related issue. People sometimes encourage a seeing eye dog to be more casual than is appropriate for a working animal.
Come on, Gwen.
At home, family members may coax the dog to sit on furniture or play very aggressively, and both of these behaviors contradict the dog's training. In the workplace, co-workers with the best of intentions may insist that a dog be allowed to run free. This should always be avoided. If a dog gets in the habit of running around loose, its performance as a dog guide may suffer, and this creates a risk to the blind person's safety. In the workplace, a seeing eye dog should always be secured near the graduate. It should never be allowed to run loose. While giving the dog too much hospitality is the more common problem, giving it too little hospitality must also be avoided. Families that have no experience with dogs may want to restrict the animal to the garage or to a certain group of rooms, but a seeing eye dog must go everywhere its master goes. At mealtimes, the dog should be secured near the graduate, even during Thanksgiving dinner in the fancy dining room. This constant companionship is one of the most important steps in strengthening the working relationship, and it should never be denied.
So where'd you go on your vacation?
California. I mean, it was beautiful.
If a dog does grab a piece of food when it shouldn't, you will probably see the graduate issue a correction.
Why did you do that? You're going to hurt her.
This is done by pulling sharply on the leash and saying, "Fui." Leash correction is not punishment and doesn't hurt the dog. It is simply the way the graduate tells the dog it has done something wrong. A graduate will correct a dog under many circumstances, especially when traveling. For example, if it is distracted by another animal. Leash correction may seem harsh, but it's really just a way of making sure the dog keeps its mind on the job. And like petting, it's one of the fundamental ways that dog and person communicate.
Good boy.
So I guess we're going to have to replace the whole core system, which means we need new terminals, right?
Yes.
With a new seeing eye dog, one of the most difficult adjustments for sighted people is accepting the fact that dog and graduate actually know what they're doing. Watching them approach a busy intersection, it may look as if they're going to walk right into traffic. At such times, you may feel an irresistible urge to interfere.
Oh my gosh, John.
Okay.
This is understandable. You're concerned about the person's safety. And after all, it's only a dog, right? Well, not exactly. This is a seeing eye dog. This dog is trained never to put its human partner at risk. If you become alarmed when walking with a graduate and dog and suddenly gasp in fear or throw out an arm or grab the harness, it is extremely upsetting for both the dog and the blind person. Restraining yourself may be a challenge, but at moments like these, you must trust the dog just as the blind person does. Interference does no good and will only erode the confidence they've spent weeks building up. Equally important for safe travel is not creating a distraction. This can happen entirely by accident and with the best of intentions, especially if you happen to see a friend or family member and their dog out on the street.
Hello, Miss Oliver and Lola. How are you doing today?
Make sure you do not call out to them in the middle of a street crossing. This is a critical moment when all the dog's attention should be focused on getting across safely. A loud greeting, especially from a familiar voice, can break the dog's concentration, possibly with serious consequences. In a situation like this, always wait until they've made it all the way across, and then stop to say hello.
Hello, Miss Oliver.
Lola 6. Hi, Miss Anderson. How are you?
I'm doing fine, and yourself?
If you are walking with a seeing eye graduate and the dog is guiding, it's important to walk in the right spot. For example, don't walk on the person's left side. The dogs are trained to work in the middle of a sidewalk or other pathway, but because they walk on the person's left, they often prefer to work as far to the left as possible. This means they will naturally hug the curb or the side of a building. If you try to walk on the person's left, the dog may squeeze you right out. Also, don't walk in front of the person. If you do, the dog will assume that you are leading and will just follow you instead of making its own decisions about what is safe and what isn't. And don't trail behind them. This situation may arise accidentally, as when two coworkers go out for lunch at almost the same time, The blind person may not even know you're there, but the dog will. This creates a distraction because the dog will recognize you as someone familiar and will be uncertain of your intentions. If the dog is thinking about why you're back there, it can't give full attention to its job. The place to walk is just behind the person's right shoulder. This way, the dog knows you're all traveling together and that it should be focused on guiding. In a more casual situation, or if the graduate simply wants to let the dog relax, you can use a traveling method called sighted guide. In this case, the blind person drops the harness and just holds the dog's leash. Then the two of you walk side by side, with the blind person keeping a light hold on your left elbow. If you plan to walk any distance together, going sighted guide is often the easiest thing for both of you. These traveling guidelines are especially important if you plan to help the graduate familiarize the dog with its new surroundings. This is an excellent way to get to know the dog and also to boost your own confidence in the dog's abilities. The process is called OCS and is performed in 3 steps: orientation, coaching, and solo. It should be carried out in all the areas where graduate and dog expect to travel on a regular basis.
Trevor, sit.
In the orientation step, the dog does not guide. Instead, you serve as a sighted guide, walking at a relaxed pace while the graduate holds your elbow. As you move along a particular route, describe exactly where you are. Be sure to explain all turns and curves in detail, as well as the location of all curves, steps, wheelchair ramps, corners, walls, and other physical aspects of the route. At each of these locations, called target points, the graduate will put the dog at sit. The dog knows this means it should stop at that point when guiding the person along the same route.
Yes, but
Trevor?
the inside is a circle as well, so we're just going to shoreline that.
Good boy. Shoreline it. Come on. Stay left. Stay left.
In the coaching step, the dog goes to work. You follow exactly the same route, walking just behind the graduate's right shoulder. Your job now is to coach the graduate as you walk. Describe your progress and indicate the approach of each target point identified during orientation. The graduate will use verbal commands to direct the dog forward, left, and right, but may need some guidance in becoming familiar with the subtleties of the route. If the dog misses a target point, be sure to tell the graduate. He or she will correct the dog, back up a few feet, and go over the same area again.
Stay left.
We're still on a circle, so you...
In the solo step, dog and graduate go it alone, working through the same route for the 3rd time. Your job now is to observe from a distance. With good orientation and coaching, the team should have no trouble with the route, but watch to see how they do. Because of the need for you to stay in one place and watch from a distance, soloing through an entire route is best done in sections, roughly 1 block at a time. Arrange a number of stop locations where the dog and graduate will wait for you to catch up. You can discuss any difficulties you may have observed, make additional suggestions, and then continue. When dog and graduate are fully oriented to a particular route, you will be amazed at their degree of independence. And independence is what it's all about. Independence and dignity. That's what the Seeing Eye has been giving blind people since 1929. But when that 4-footed visitor appears on your doorstep, our job is over.
Fine. How's everything here? You guys miss me?
By offering the dog a warm welcome and following the guidelines in this video, you will help make the most out of our training and allow graduate and dog to sharpen their performance as a team. Remember, the Seeing Eye provides great dogs and an understanding of how to use them, but that's only a beginning. Much of the responsibility for long-term success and long-term independence lies with you. Good luck.
If you have a dog assisting a blind person in doing their work and functioning in real life, it's a real benefit, and it's something that should be supported.
You don't even see the dogs when they're here. You don't even see them because they're normally at the desk or underneath the desk of the worker and they sleep. You don't even see them, hardly ever.
They stay under the desks. They only come out basically when the master tells them to. They're very quiet, and they're extremely well trained.
In many respects, we're liberated. In many respects, I don't have to worry about John walking to work. My daughter would often say to me, the intersection is getting so busy down there. Aren't you worried about that? I'm not anymore.
The reason for having the dog was no longer my brother or myself helping or assisting her. I just wanted to make sure the dog was fine for her. Those were some of my concerns. And come to see now, the dog is absolutely wonderful.
It was a period of adjustment. I had grown up with a dog in my house. This is a different kind of dog. This is a dog that has to live by a specific set of rules. But this doesn't mean the dog is a stick in the mud. These dogs can, when they're out of harness, be great fun and interact as important members of the family.
You do have your urge to treat the dog as a pet, and you play with the dog sometimes, and sometimes you take it too far, then you have to just catch yourself and realize, well, this is a working dog. The dog's here for a purpose, to serve a purpose.
He's pretty friendly, and he's a good boy, and it's pretty fun to play with. He's like my brother. And he is.
This program was made possible by a grant from the Banero Lappy Foundation. The Seeing Eye extends special thanks to graduates Harold Ray, John Hollenbach, Sanford Oliver, and Sally Garland, and to their families, friends, and co-workers who appear in this program. Also, many thanks to management and employees of the New Jersey Commission for the Blind and Visually Impaired in Newark, New Jersey, the Housing Authority of Plainfield, New Jersey, and the First Savings Bank of Percy, Pennsylvania, for their support and cooperation during the production of this program. This video was produced for The Seeing Eye by New York Television, Incorporated. Written and directed by Don Reamer. Consultant for Instruction and Training, Doug Roberts, Director of Programs at The Seeing Eye. Executive Producer for The Seeing Eye, Rosemary Carroll. I'm Susan Stanley.